Thank you so much for staying with us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. Now, we've been covering the situation in Ukraine, Jamaican students who for the past few days have been trying to make their way to safety. We're so happy to be joined by three of them on the program this evening. Later on in the program, we'll take a look at the geopolitical situation that has been going on, and we will also be getting other perspectives. But for this segment of the program, we're pleased to welcome Joel Tollo, who was a second-year med student, Joel Thomas, a third-year med student, and Sabrina Lewis, a sixth-year med student, all studying in Ukraine. And I understand that Sabrina's cat, Victoria, may well make a cameo appearance at some point. But guys, thank you all so very much. Can I just say before we even start how very happy we all are that you all are now safe and out of danger. So thank you so much for talking to us. Let me start by asking you, let me start with you, Joel Tollo, if I could. We've been hearing a lot, we've been watching TV as to what's been happening in Ukraine. To what extent over the past few days did you feel that your life was at risk, if at all?
We had endured a lot of difficulties, and in Ukraine, where we were in Kharkiv, everything happened out of nowhere. I was asleep around 2, about to go to sleep around 2, 3 a.m., and I heard noises such as shaking. The room was shaking that I was in, and the school dorm, everyone was literally running out. People were scared, some ladies were crying. And just from that thought alone, I knew that in that moment, I couldn't really do anything, because just the sound of bombs dropping literally around you in that moment, you can't even run because it's happening out of nowhere.
Here, and that phrase out of nowhere, because last week on the program, my viewers saw an interview I did with one of your colleagues, CJ McCullough, who was saying, look, everything is so quiet. We see on the TV, on news that stuff is happening, but everyone around us, everyone at the university keeps saying nothing is happening and the place is completely peaceful. So Joel Thomas, for you, was it also a complete surprise when you started to hear explosions and realize, hold on, something is going on?
Yes, definitely. I fell asleep at around 3 a.m. that day because, because of all the saga that has been happening, I was getting calls nonstop that day before. Everyone was calling me, telling me that, hey, they feel Russia will attack soon and it's best to get a ticket to leave. So the funny thing is, that same day, I ordered a ticket to leave, but at 4 a.m., I woke up to hearing just this noise sounding like a symphony. That's how the bombs just dropped it, like a musical. So it was just boom, boom, boom. So at first, I got up and I was so scared. I started shaking. And then a few seconds after that, an airplane flew low over my roof. So the entire building started shaking. And in my mind, all I could say was that this is it. This is the end.
Wow, you literally thought that might be it. You might not make it out of there.
Definitely. I honestly felt like this was just it.
Sabrina, let me bring you in because as I mentioned, you're a final year student. So, I mean, it's like the end is in sight for you. You've done all this time, your degree is within reach. Is that why you are still in Ukraine?
Honestly, yes, because I personally was awaiting as they mentioned before, everything on ground was normal. And after they made a couple announcements about school going online, I was waiting for my university and for the Ministry of Education to tell us final year students what the plan was going to be for us who would write the final exams and for us to graduate and collect our diploma. So that was one reason. One reason I was waiting there because I wanted to know what the plan was. Would it be online? Would it be offline? From there, I'd be able to make my decision because I was scared to just up. I mean, after 6 years, 6 difficult years, I was scared to just get up like that and to just go because what we were experiencing was completely different from what was on the media. So there was a chance that we could have left. And I mean, if we left, there was a possibility that nothing would have happened. And I was considering how could I get back to Ukraine? How could I continue my studies? Maybe I'll face expulsion. I won't get a diploma. So I was really there waiting on announcements and keeping up to news as well and keeping track of what is taking place.
So, I mean, we all know hindsight is 2020, as people like to say. So, when you realize that, hold on, you're hearing these explosions that Joel and Joel were just talking about, and what was going through your mind?
You know, Miss Miller, that day, okay, the night before I came home from work, usual routine, working, come home late, start chores, cooking, cleaning. I was even on the phone with Joel's mom talking, and I think I finished somewhere around 2, 3 a.m. and I decided, let me close my eyes, let me sleep and wake up to study. And while I was sleeping in my dream, I heard something loud. So it woke me up and I was trying to go back to sleep. I was twisting and turning, but I couldn't go to sleep. And like it was something in my spirit that, it was something unsettling. And that was when I rolled over again and I noticed, because my apartment is very close to the highway. So I have a big window and I can see what is taking place outside. I noticed at 5 a.m. traffic is on the road, something that I've never seen before. And then I checked my phone and I started seeing bunches of messages and videos. And that's when I knew that, okay, something is happening. And when I read it and scrolled through it, I called the students and I had to just pack up my things and go. So that's when I knew, okay, it's serious. Like something really is happening. And as I was making my way to the hostel to meet them there, the traffic was long. Everybody was going to the gas station. It was very difficult even to get a taxi because normal taxis to their hostel would be like, let's say, 80 grivnas. And the price skyrocketed to 300 grivnas. It was so difficult to get there. So I knew that something was happening. People in my building, they were leaving. Traffic was everywhere. And then I was hearing the noise. So I knew that everything started by then.
Now, we know that you all managed to make your way initially to this underground station because we saw photographs of that. Joel, tell us what it was like under there.
Well, underground, it wasn't nice at all. Due to the fact that the bombings had started, everyone started panicking. I think the government had made note that shelters such as the metro can be used because it's underground, under the road. And some of the metros in Ukraine are very deep. I think they have one of the deepest metros in the world as well. So that is what we would call our bunker. Going under there, though, remember that no one knew this would happen. No one knew this invasion would take place. Most of us didn't even go shopping for food. Some didn't even have food. So we went underground with our blankets, and it was just panic. At first, everyone was calm, and then out of nowhere, you could feel the vibration. No one had to tell you that was a bomb. No one had to be like, hey, okay, it's happening. Everybody just started screaming. And it got worse because Russia is invading, and the people underground, some of them would just shout out of nowhere, troops, troops, troops. And everybody would start pouring in. Literally, everyone started pouring in. I was underground with Joel and Sabrina. Joel literally we were literally laying down, and I just started hearing footsteps beside me, and I got up. I just knew I had to run. So Joel started running. He ran, he even left a pair of his shoes, but we had to continue. And whilst going down, there's really no exit because it's the trains that's there. So the only exit you would have is literally just to run under the railway to go to probably a different place in the country. So trust me, it's very hard.
Let's go to our break. We'll be back. Remember our hashtag, it's TVJ All Angles. We're talking to Jamaican students who are now in Poland. Speaking to us from Poland, they managed to make their way to safety and they're talking to us about that journey. We soon come.